of it, make a good meal of it, stick to your old-fashioned beer. Now don't be afraid of it, drink till you're made of it. Now all together a cheer. Up with the sail of it, down with a pail of it. Glorious, glorious beer.
Hi, this is your old pal Mark, your Chicago area craft beer examiner, beer blogger, writer, and just general enjoyer of beer. Usually I write about beers that are available in Chicago, but in the style of so many young girls these days on the old YouTube generation, I decided I would do a haul video of a bunch of beer that I picked up on my vacation to my parents' place in Iowa. Now, I've said a lot of things about the poor beer selection, especially in northwestern Iowa, mainly because there's absolutely no brew pubs in the area, but this year I can report things are looking up, at least in terms of retail. The state of Iowa still controls the distribution of liquor, even if they are out of the liquor retail business. But some places like the Hy-Vee supermarket chain with their separate liquor departments, they're really coming up in terms of finding beer choices. I was really pleased by what I found, and I thought I'd come back and show you what I've got. We packed a bunch of it in a cooler to survive the trip home in 90-degree heat, and some of the extras I packed along in, oh, here we are, in some 6-packs. And I'm just going to start right away with something out of here. Now, a lot of these, of course, are beers that I could not get where I am, and some of them I just got because they were some single bottles of beers that I would normally be getting, like this one, a Summit. Oh, this is the Summit Oktoberfest beer, and if we hold the label up just right, we might be able to see it, from Minnesota, St. Paul, Minneapolis area. I found an autumn ale from Breckenridge. Again, this is something you can get in Chicago, but again, I picked up some single bottles where I could. And this is unusual. This is Boulevard Brewing of Kansas City, Missouri. They have some very fine beers, in my opinion. Their normal beers are very fine. Among the ones I picked up that I haven't had before is the Single Wide IPA, which was, I tried a couple. I bought a whole 6-pack to leave with my folks. It was a very nice American-style pale ale. And then their Irish ale. I'm going to suppose this is more of an Irish red type of ale, since they have a lovely bully porter. And then this, the Boulevard Pilsner, which is very oddly in a tall boy bottle, while most of their beers come in stubbies like this. Don't know what that is. I mean, they're very ecologically conscious. I think they're making the move to cans, so how they're doing 2 different bottle sizes, I don't know. Perhaps this one is being contract brewed off-site because of demand or something like that. And again, a couple more that I was able to just get individual bottles of. A couple of Sierra Nevadas, the Torpedo Extra IPA, and the Keller Weiss Hefeweizen beer. I'm sure they'll be very nice. And again, you've probably seen plenty of these. The Sam Adams Cream Stout. It's one of their regular beers, but again, a single bottle is available, and there was another Sam Adams purchase I'll get to in just a minute. These are some new brewers I just got a hold of. The Brow Brothers of Lucan, Minnesota. They have a cream stout. Let's back that up so we can get this into the light, which seems to be shining on my gut. It's the biggest, widest thing out here right now. And also a strawberry wheat. They had a nice looking Pilsner too. I actually got a 6-pack of a single batch series called Sheephead Ale. It was incredibly bitter. I liked it, of course, but I don't think my parents care too much for it. My dad's getting into the craft beer, but he prefers the malty, regular type stuff. It's more of an IPA, American Pale Ale strength, German beer with what felt like German hops to me. Flicker, flicker, flicker. I gotta work on my basement lighting at some point. So that was so I took a couple back with me, and now to see what treasures are in my cooler. A couple from August Shell of New Ulm, Minnesota, the country's second oldest family-owned brewery, independent brewery. First off, there's the Fire Brick, usually a dark German lager, and then the Hopfen malts. It's their 100. Let's get a nice look at that. The Hopfen malts. It's their 150th anniversary brew. It is considered a Vienna lager, so I'm anxious to try that. A couple from James Page of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. I don't think they're related to the Point Brewery, but it's the Iron Range Amber Lager, a Vienna type beer, and an extra pale ale, an American pale ale with Pacific Northwest hops. Doesn't get a lot of positive press, but I'm going to brewery. This is something new that I did not know about. This is another new brewer in Iowa. Last year I found the Hub City beers at, actually 2 years ago, at John's Grocery in Iowa City. I picked these up at the Hy-Vee in Carroll, Iowa. Most of the rest I picked up in Storm Lake, Iowa. These beers are from Madhouse Brewing of Newton, Iowa, and these were actually set up in the former plant where Maytag was being made. As you know, Maytag has been bought out, and all of their dishwashers and washing machines are being made in Mexico. But of course, one of the Maytag family, Fritz Maytag, kind of left the family business in the 1960s and embarked on this crazy idea of buying a rundown old brewery in San Francisco that was about to go out of business. It was called Anchor Brewing, and under his work it survived and thrived and kind of helped launch the whole craft beer revolution. And now, in the space where his family used to make their fortune, there's a new brewer called Madhouse, and this is an American wheat beer, and this is called Pastime Pale Ale. It's supposedly named after the very first Maytag washing machine. So I haven't tried any of these beers yet. I will be very interested to check these out. I showed you a Sam Adams Cream Stout, for which most of you are going to say, big whoop, you can get that pretty much anywhere in the country. But I got that at the Hy-Vee Liquor Department in Storm Lake, Iowa, which is probably the last place I would have ever expected to see this. And of course the bottle is way dark and it's screen printed, so you probably can't see it too well. Hold it up against my white, my bright shirt here. It is a Samuel Adams Triple Bock. Was last made in 1997. It is 18% alcohol, and apparently Iowa's liquor control wholesalers have this thing about high alcohol beers. They only parcel out a little bit at a time. Gosh, I miss the era when they also ran the entire liquor store business in the state, and you could always count on finding an interesting Elvis whiskey decanter. But this is, it's not that hard to find. It still turns up as proof here, but what's interesting is the price. You can't quite see the tag here, but this was $3.99 at Hy-Vee in Storm Lake. It's about 8.5 ounces, and most people who've tried it at this date agree it pretty much tastes like soy sauce. But well, that's the fun of trying this out, and at this price, well, it's not the $120 bottle of Sam Adams Utopias, nor the $700 bottle of Brewdog End of History with a dead squirrel around it. So, you know, it's just something we'll want to try, and be glad we had it. A couple of the big bottles right now, and we'll wrap this up. They also had some nice Breckenridge brews again in the 22-ounce bomber bottles. This is their oatmeal stout. And another thing I was not aware of before, and I was very pleased to find, are two Belgian-style beers made in Argentina. This is the Jerome Brewery from the heart of the Andes, as it says, Portuarios, Mendoza, Argentina. And this is what I am very interested in. As it says, it's made with barley malt from the Argentine Pampas, Cascade hops from Patagonia, and Andes pure mountain spring water. In other words, this is entirely sourced in the country of origin. So many times we try a beer from another country and find it's just something that's all imported ingredients that they want to taste just like a Heineken. So I'm always happy to find a craft beer from a country that is not known for craft beer before. This is the Cerveza Rubia, another Belgium style. I'm going to assume a Belgian red type ale, or maybe a double. Not a double, doubles aren't red. And then another Belgium style ale it's called here, Cerveza Roya. So probably a darker red, probably a lighter red. But that's the extent of my beer haul from Iowa, from the Hy-Vee Liquor Departments in Storm Lake and in Carroll, Iowa. Two smaller towns that I really would not have expected to find such an interesting collection of beers. They also had in bottles the Old Main beers from the Old Main Brew Pub in Ames, Iowa. That was at the Carroll location. I've already tried those, so yeah, as much as this, as big as this haul is, I was actually trying to cut my expenses on that. And I will be tasting and reviewing them. Probably will not put them on my Chicago Craft Beer Examiner column, which you can find most easily by Googling Mark McDermott Chicago Craft Beer Examiner. But you will be finding them on my ratebeer.com reviews. Just look for user DRNK McDermott. Yes, that was a name chosen when I probably should have thought a little harder about it, but you know, being a craft beer geek means you're not ashamed to have a picture of yourself drinking beer on your Facebook profile. And that was my haul video. Hope you enjoyed looking over some of the beers that I found, and we'll hope to talk to you again soon.